So I wrote this kind of just poking the bear a little bit. Apparently you were the bear. What I took away, Sean, from when you called me and said, hey man, I got to talk to you, was I read your article, Hartman. I do believe you're wrong and you're a jackass. That was the message that I took away. We don't have to go revisit the whole thing. I'm just joking. I love the fact you were pushing back a little bit and also expanding my thinking. But I think part of it, one of my takeaways was maybe what you're talking about with Jerry, which is what is the vocabulary we use? And if we have Jerry who's inside, and I would view them very much close to the SBCA and components and trusses and all that. And you're like, well, not really. He saw a distinction between kind of what we do and what he was doing. Maybe go into that just a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Bradley. I'm just laughing when I called you. I did it with the greatest respect possible.
Of course.
You know, I think it was one of those things where, again, Jerry was a visionary and he wanted to drag builders towards this holistic approach towards the building framework. And so, you know, when I talked to Jerry, when I brought him on the podcast, all the subsequent conversations, he never talked about the fact that he was a manufacturer or that he provided individual framing elements. He talked about providing a solution, a total building solution to the builder. He was a one-stop shop. So he worked on the building design. He did all the manufacturing to incorporate that design from the peak of the roof down through the foundation. And then he worked on, you know, getting that all assembled in the field. That's certainly, again, on that spectrum, that's way over here. That's one way to go with that. And, you know, no qualm. I mean, I have no objection to that. That's great. And there are certainly other manufacturers who I think of themselves as manufacturers. Some of them think of themselves as LBMs first, but they do all of that. You know, Builders First Source, US LBM, 84 Lumber, those guys do all of the same things Jerry was doing, but they don't think of themselves as like, I will only do the full solution. Mm-hmm. You know, they back off from that a little bit and they're like, well, I'll give you whatever it is that you want. If you want all of it, we can certainly do all of that. And they've invested billions and billions and billions of dollars just over the last decade to have the capability of doing something like that, right? Mm-hmm. But they talk about it differently. I think that was the big thing, is they just talk about it differently and maybe a little more quietly than certainly Jerry did.